Lifeline connection. Before birth, a baby can't breathe, eat, or drink on its own. Everything it needs to live and grow comes through one vital link, the umbilical cord. This cord connects the baby to the placenta, an incredible temporary organ that forms in the mother's womb during pregnancy. The placenta attaches to the wall of the uterus and draws nutrients and oxygen from the mother's blood. The umbilical cord acts like a flexible tube, carrying these essentials directly to the baby. It begins forming very early, usually around week 5 of pregnancy, and grows to about 50 to 60 centimeters long by the time of birth. The cord is made of strong yet flexible tissues and is covered in a smooth, protective layer. Inside, 3 blood vessels run through a cushioning material called Wharton's jelly. This special jelly prevents the cord from becoming pinched or tangled in a way that could block blood flow. Thanks to this lifeline, the baby receives oxygen for breathing, proteins for building muscles, fats for brain growth, and vitamins and minerals for healthy bones and organs. At the same time, the cord also sends waste materials like carbon dioxide back to the mother's body for disposal. The umbilical cord works non-stop, 24 hours a day, without the baby having to do anything. It's nature's perfect delivery system, silent, efficient, and reliable. Without this connection, the developing baby simply could not survive in the womb. Dual supply system. One of the most amazing features of the umbilical cord is its dual supply system, a perfect two-way transportation network. In one direction, it delivers oxygen and nutrients from the mother to the baby. In the other, it carries waste products away from the baby. The oxygen is crucial because, inside the womb, the baby's lungs aren't used for breathing air. Instead, the mother's lungs supply oxygen, which travels through her bloodstream to the placenta. From there, the umbilical vein, one of the 3 vessels in the cord, delivers this oxygen-rich blood directly to the baby. Nutrients travel the same way. These include carbohydrates for energy, proteins for tissue growth, healthy fats for brain and nerve development, and vitamins and minerals for building strong bones, a healthy heart, and a working immune system. Every meal the mother eats, and even the oxygen she breathes in, contributes to this supply chain. Meanwhile, the umbilical cord also works in reverse. The baby's body produces waste, such as carbon dioxide from cell activity and byproducts from breaking down nutrients. This waste is carried away through the 2 umbilical arteries, sent back to the placenta, and transferred to the mother's blood for removal through her lungs and kidneys. This constant exchange keeps the baby's internal environment balanced and safe. It's like having a personal delivery truck and garbage truck working together, ensuring everything the baby needs arrives on time and everything harmful is taken away. Waste removal. Most people focus on how the umbilical cord delivers oxygen and food, but its waste removal role is just as important. Imagine if a city got daily deliveries of supplies but no garbage collection. Things would quickly become dangerous. The same is true for a developing baby. The baby's cells are constantly active, using nutrients for energy and growth. This process produces waste products, especially carbon dioxide and other chemical byproducts. Because the baby's lungs, liver, and kidneys aren't yet working independently, it can't get rid of these wastes on its own. That's where the umbilical cord steps in. The 2 umbilical arteries in the cord carry deoxygenated blood and waste materials away from the baby. These travel back to the placenta, which acts like a high-tech filter. The placenta transfers the waste into the mother's bloodstream, and her body removes it through breathing. Carbon dioxide leaves via her lungs, or urination. Other waste products leave via her kidneys. This waste removal happens constantly, even when the mother is sleeping. If waste products built up in the baby's body, they could become toxic and interfere with growth or even cause serious harm. That's why the waste removal function of the umbilical cord is just as critical as nutrient delivery. Interestingly, the process works without the baby and mother's blood ever mixing directly. A thin barrier in the placenta keeps the 2 blood supplies separate, while still allowing the transfer of oxygen, nutrients, and waste. 3 special vessels. Inside the umbilical cord are 3 important blood vessels, 1 vein and 2 arteries. These are not ordinary vessels. Each has a unique role and is specially designed for the baby's needs. The single umbilical vein carries oxygen-rich, nutrient-packed blood from the placenta to the baby. Think of it as a delivery route, bringing life's essentials straight to the developing organs and tissues. The two umbilical arteries work in the opposite direction. They carry deoxygenated blood and waste products from the baby back to the placenta, where the waste is transferred to the mother's body for disposal. These vessels are surrounded by Wharton's jelly, a thick, cushiony substance that protects them from being squeezed or twisted shut. Since the baby moves around a lot in the womb, flipping, kicking, and sometimes tangling in the cord, this protection is essential to keep blood flowing freely. Another amazing feature is the cord's natural spiral twist. This helical shape makes it more flexible and less likely to get compressed. It's like the cord of an old telephone, able to stretch and bend without losing its function. The blood vessels in the umbilical cord are also much thicker and stronger than most vessels in the body. They're built to handle constant use, pumping blood back and forth for months without a single break. No direct blood mixing. One fascinating fact about the umbilical cord is that, despite its role in transferring oxygen and nutrients, the mother's and baby's blood never mix directly. This is a crucial safety feature in pregnancy. The exchange of oxygen, nutrients, and waste happens in the placenta, which contains a thin but highly selective barrier called the placental membrane. This membrane allows essential molecules like oxygen, glucose, and amino acids to pass through, but it blocks harmful substances and keeps the two blood supplies separate. Why is this separation important? Mother and baby can have different blood types, and if their blood were to mix, it could trigger an immune reaction. In some cases, the mother's body might see the baby's blood as foreign and produce antibodies against it. The placental barrier prevents this problem. The placenta works like a sophisticated customs checkpoint, allowing the right items to cross while stopping anything dangerous. However, it's not perfect. Certain harmful substances like alcohol, nicotine, and some drugs can still pass through, which is why doctors advise pregnant women to avoid them. Even though the blood doesn't mix, the connection is still incredibly efficient. Oxygen from the mother's blood diffuses across the placental barrier into the baby's blood, while carbon dioxide from the baby moves in the opposite direction. The same happens with nutrients and waste. Natural closure at birth. The umbilical cord works tirelessly during pregnancy, but its job ends at birth. When the baby is born, it takes its first breath, and the lungs start working. At that moment, the cord is no longer needed for oxygen supply. Almost immediately, the cord's blood vessels start to close naturally. Within minutes, the blood flow stops. This is why the cord is clamped and cut shortly after birth. Cutting the cord doesn't hurt the baby because there are no nerves inside it. Some parents choose delayed cord clamping, where the cord is left attached for a few extra minutes so the baby can receive more oxygen-rich blood from the placenta. This can provide a boost in iron levels and help with early strength and immunity. After the cord is cut, a small stump remains attached to the baby's belly. Over the next 1 to 3 weeks, this stump dries, shrinks, and eventually falls off, leaving behind the baby's belly button, a lifelong reminder of their first connection to their mother. In some cultures, the umbilical cord and placenta are treated with special respect, sometimes buried or kept as a keepsake. Scientifically, the end of the cord's job marks a huge milestone. The baby has transitioned from being entirely dependent on the mother's body to being an independent being able to breathe, eat, and function on its own. The natural closure of the umbilical cord is the final chapter in its amazing journey, from lifeline to belly button, symbolizing both the end of one bond and the beginning of another kind of connection between mother and child.